And the workshop team today, like I will be your main instructor. What I will be doing, I will be walking you through this hands-on lab. We have a bunch of labs put together as the workshop. We have 90 minutes of total time, of which apart from my presentation probably will be left with 75 minutes or 80 minutes around. So we will try to cover whatever we can, and we'll leave the rest of the stuff to you guys so that you can practice them. And then if you have any questions, you can reach out to us at a later point of time. And together with me are Roopesh and Apurva from my team, and they are here to help you out with any questions in the chat window. So feel free to post any questions related to if you are stuck at any point in the lab, or if you're not able to get the desired output, or if there are any issues with the screenshots, or if you have any other feedback related to Apex or a particular section within the hands-on lab, please do let my team know. And here, as you see, we have a very strong engagement on social media. Oracle Apex is the hashtag that we use. So feel free to post any messages, any feedback about this lab or in Apex in general about any kind of things that is related to Apex using this hashtag always. The prerequisites for this workshop. What do you need actually to do this workshop today? Two things are very important. One is access to Oracle Cloud Free tier, which you get from oracle.com/free. And over here is the QR code. So you might want to scan this and get to that particular page, oracle.com/free. Most of you would have already got your email ID registered or whitelisted with Oracle team, so that you don't need to go through the process of putting or entering your credit card details at this point. You simply go ahead and then register, and then you'll get some amount of credit in dollars, and that you can use to explore Oracle Cloud in detail, not just Apex and not just autonomous database, but what's in there in Oracle Cloud, and you can explore those areas as well. So most of you would have already got this, and some of you might have been there in my session in the past, like on Tuesday we did a session for maps and spatial. So if you already have a Cloud Free tier account created, then you don't need to worry about it at all. You just can go ahead and use it straight away. And for those of you who just joined, who just registered maybe a couple of minutes or hours ago, or whose accounts are not whitelisted, you don't need to worry. You can perform this hands-on lab on apex.oracle.com. So my colleagues would be pasting you the URL for that in the chat window. So it's apex.oracle.com, which is a free evaluation only instance from Oracle, which you can use to perform this lab. And do remember that whether it is the Oracle Cloud Free tier account or apex.oracle.com workspace, they're going to be free forever for you. So you can utilize them to build your applications later, maybe build your prototypes, or do all sorts of R&D, or you can showcase your applications for your community and all sorts of things. So that is going to stay forever with you. The second one is the hands-on lab guide, and over here you see apex.oracle.com/go/movies-lab. This would navigate you to the GitHub page of the hands-on lab guide. So you need this running side by side on the browser, and here is a QR code for the same. So we need, in a browser, we need to have a sign up for Oracle Cloud Free tier plus the hands-on lab guide over here. The first section of the hands-on lab guide would actually help you with how do you sign up for the free tier account and what do you do next. So I will be covering slides for the next 5 or 6 minutes. In the meantime, for those of you who are new to Oracle Cloud Free tier, I would request to please sign up right away. And once you sign up, then you will be automatically redirected to the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure homepage or the OCI console page, from where you will be doing the rest of the hands-on lab. I will be guiding starting from the next step, but the sign up is something which I would like you to do right away, so we don't have any delay in performing the hands-on lab. All right. For those of you who have an account already created, probably you just know the tenancy name. So just go ahead and then sign in and then log in and just stay there. We'll be there. I'll be coming there in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll walk you through the next steps. So have this one first, and then let's go ahead. The next prerequisite, which is very important today, is signing up for a TMDB API key. We have this movies database, the moviedb.org. So we need an API key for you to perform the hands-on lab today. So please go to this particular location, this particular URL. I request my colleagues to paste this in the chat window and go to the sign up page, sign up for a TMDB API key. When you do so, you need to provide some information like, the application URL, etc., etc. But at this point, I think you don't have the application URL, so you might want to maybe wait until lab 1. So at least have this, bookmarked or save this in your browser. When we'll come to this particular step in the hands-on lab, I would direct you, or I would give you some time to sign up for the API key. So 3 things are important. Again, I'll just go back to that. One is the cloud-free TER account, which you can go right away. The hands-on lab guide, which you can, go ahead and view that. In the hands-on lab guide, in the first lab, under task 5, you see how to sign up for the TMDB API key. So if you would like to do that right away, you can do that. But the problem is you need to provide the application URL, right? So hold on to this particular section until I come there, until we do lab 1. So just go ahead with this 2 prerequisites for now. We'll come to the TMDB API key later on. Just have the URL saved for now. Well, this is what the lab is going to do. Actually, it is going to help you. It is going to let you build a movie watchlist application where you have the movies pulled in from the movies database, and hence you need the API key basically. Okay. And then you would click through one of these, and then you would view the movie details. Basically, you would create a playlist or the watch list for your movies, and you can share it with your friends and colleagues and whatnot, and you can just customize it according to your requirements. So as I mentioned, we'll not be able to go through the entire hands-on lab today. We'll be able to do max maybe 4 or 5. The rest of the things you can take care of yourself later. So what do you do in this lab? Today we are going to create REST data sources. Apex allows you to query, to create components, application components, not just on the local tables, but also on using your REST APIs. So you query your REST APIs and fetch the data from there. And then the source for that is what we call as a REST data source. So not just local tables, but using REST data source, which would actually store the REST API details, you will be able to create your Apex components on top of that. So you create these REST data sources, you will understand what these are. So the essence here is that, the thing here is that not just using local tables, but also querying tables which are remote, right? Which are there in the internet, and then you fetch the data, and then you create your Apex components on top of that. And then create local tables. You use application items and processes, create a page to view data from a REST source, and create a page to view data from a local table, search for movies, manage a list of options for this overall. I am assuming that most of you who are attending this lab are already familiar with Apex or have just a beginner's knowledge of Apex. But if you're completely new, that's fine. This lab is going to give you some input, how to get started with, and also some information or insight into REST data sources and table creation and all those stuff. So it will be really very exciting. And later on, you can go through our other hands-on lab and make yourself comfortable with building applications with Apex. So don't worry if you are just very new to Apex. This will definitely help you guys as well. Well, for the benefit of those who are new to Apex, a quick review on what exactly is Oracle Apex. Apex is the world's most popular enterprise low-code application development platform. It is Oracle's strategic low-code application development platform, and it enables you to build secure, scalable enterprise applications with world-class features that can be deployed anywhere. Using Apex, you can build and deploy compelling applications which solve real business problems and provide immediate value. You can build applications for your desktop, and at the same time, you can also configure them for your mobile device. So they run pretty much fine on your mobile device. You can also build progressive web applications using Apex. You don't need to be an expert in a vast array of technologies to build applications with Apex. All you need to know is just some basic information or some basic knowledge about what a web application would look like, what is an application, what is a page, and sort of things. And maybe a little bit of SQL, PL SQL can help. It is not a must. It is nice to have. And HTML, CSS, again, this is not a must, but it would be nice to have this knowledge so that you can beautify your applications. Apex is shipped with the universal theme, which decides the look and feel of your application. So pretty much you don't need to be an expert in CSS or HTML or whatever. Apex takes care of everything for you. All you need to do is just go ahead and sign up for a workspace and get started with building applications. I'm sure you really appreciate this and how easy and quickly and rapidly you can build your applications which are fully functional in just a few minutes. So Apex lets you focus on solving the business problem, unlike other tools where you spend a lot of time in writing hundreds and thousands of lines of code. So Apex takes care of the rest of the things for you and lets you just focus only on solving your business problem. So the idea here is you do more with less, and hence it is a low-code application development platform. Apex runs everywhere your Oracle database runs, whether it is on premises, whether it is on Oracle Cloud, whether it is third-party cloud, wherever your Oracle database runs, Apex runs there. And within Oracle Cloud, you have Apex available with Oracle Autonomous Database and Apex as a standalone service, which we call it as Apex Application Development, or in short, Apex Service. And in today's hands-on lab, you will be using Apex Service as the primary environment. I once again repeat, for those of you who are not able to get into OCI cloud account today, you can happily use apex.oracle.com, right? It's the same Apex version which is running in both the places. But the highly recommended environment for today is to experience Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, OCI, and Apex on it. So with Apex Service, what do you get? You get an underlying autonomous database, the world's most converged database, the world's first converged database, and the world's most popular low-code application development platform, Apex. Both of them together on the world's best cloud infrastructure, Exadata cloud infrastructure is what you get. So in minutes, you can just get started with building your applications and deploy them for your end users. That's what you will experience today. And then now let's proceed to the workshop without wasting much of your time. Building a movies watchlist application in 90 minutes. So the first thing is you will sign up for a free trial account, which I'm sure you've already been doing it in the last 5-10 minutes. The next step is creating an Apex service. Then we'll create an Apex workspace. Then we'll create the application. We'll create REST data sources. We create a movie search page. Then we create the movies detail page. Hopefully, until this, we'll be able to complete within the given time today. Okay, we still have 8 and I think we still have 68 minutes, I believe. So we'll be able to complete until this, hopefully. And if we still have time, we'll run into the implementing buttons and badges, implementing the watch list page, and improving the movie details page. So let's get started now. And I'm switching on to my browser. Turning off my camera. See my browser. So I request my colleagues to let me know if they don't see my browser yet. All right. Let me just quickly see if there is any questions in the chat window. Okay, I see Purva has already pasted the necessary information. You might want to wait to sign up for the TMDB API key add because it's in lab 1, but just have it saved in your notepad for now. Okay, so coming back, The first thing is to sign up for free trial account, which you will be doing now. And this is the introduction, what you see in the hands-on lab guide about this workshop. What exactly are we going to do? We will create an application which allows you and your friends to search for movies and create personal watch lists. We will be using the movies database, TMDB. Remember, just now I said that we will be needing an API key. And this movies database contains data about lot of movies and TV shows. And then using the data from this, using a REST data source, we'll be creating an application and you'll be using a REST data source to fetch data from this database and then showcase that as a report in your Apex application. That's exactly what you're going to do. You build an application, you query the movies database, get the data, show that in your Apex application. The idea here is, hey, not just local tables, but you can also have data from internet, from your remote data sources, and you can build reports, charts, and other stuff on other Apex components on top of that. So what happens in this application? When users log into the application, the home page will display its own unique watch list. Then they can add movies to the watch list from either the list of current popular movies, or you can do a search for a specific movie, right? So we'll be creating a page which has a search bar there. The moment you enter something and hit enter, that will query the movie database and fetch the results for you. You can filter that, select the one of your choice and add them to your movies watch list. That's exactly what you're going to do. So once a user completes, watches a movie in the list, you can mark it as watched so that you can filter your movies by those they have watched and those that will still want to watch. You can do so. So you can create like what exactly have you watched and what you're still about to watch or pending to watch. So this is simple movies watch list application. You can also extend this. There are a lot of Apex features which are going to be covered in this. That's why I said it is not just for intermediate users, but it's also very helpful for the beginners so that you get exposed to a lot of things in here, right? And this is using Apex 21.2. A quick reminder for those of you who are using Oracle Cloud accounts, we are done with updating our free tier instances across all of the regions as of today. And these instances are running Apex 21.2 already. I repeat again, these are the free tier instances, not the paid ones yet. Okay, so what you are using today are the free tier, right? And except Ashburn, I believe, which is happening tonight, rest of all the regions already have Apex 21.2. Okay, so that's on that, and let's get started now. So clicking get started, please do have two tabs running side by side, one for your hands-on lab guide and the other one for your environment. So getting started, let's go through this. We already discussed what an Apex is all about, and you need to create an instance now, you need to create a workspace now, and then you need to build an application later. So you might want to just review these things at a later point of time. These are nice, but let's not bother much about these things at this point of time. All we need to know is that what are the options for you to run your hands-on lab today. Highly recommended is option 1, which is Apex Service, Apex Application Development Service. The secondary one is apex.oracle.com. So if you don't have access to this by any chance, and if you couldn't get access to Oracle Cloud at all, then the next option for you is to sign up for apex.oracle.com for a workspace. But do remember that when you're signing up for a workspace on apex.oracle.com, make sure you specify a unique name for your workspace. Don't just give random names like, the keywords like HROE and all, because that will not get you to the next level. So give your name maybe with some, some kind of, useful names that you can remember, and then those would be the workspace names. Whereas the primary environment, as I suggested, is Apex Service. We just understood what Apex Service is all about. And to create this, you need to follow these steps. The first step is to create your free account, which I'm assuming you already have, or you just created one. and you are on OCI console homepage at this moment. So if you signed up for Oracle Cloud Free Tier, and if your sign up is complete, you will be automatically logged into the OCI console page. By any chance, if you have closed the browser, you can always go back to your inbox and refer to this email, which with the subject "Get started now with Oracle Cloud," and make note of your username, password, and cloud account name. So in that case, what you will be doing, you will be entering your cloud account name or the tenancy name that will navigate you through the next steps of signing in, like the the cloud account sign in, where you input your username and password and click sign in. Once you complete this, then you are navigated to the next page, which is the OCI console page. So you are here right now, and let me come there and then show you what would be the next step. Let me just quickly check if there are any questions. There are no questions so far. If you have any questions, so please feel free to reach out to my colleagues on the chat window. Okay. Now, this is my second tab where I go to cloud.oracle.com. For those of you who already have signed up for free tier, whether in the past or maybe on Tuesday from my the previous hands-on lab, you can directly go to cloud.oracle.com, and that will ask you for the tenancy name. Let me just go back and then sign in for your sake to show you how the interface looks like. So this is what you see. Well, change my tenancy. So this is what you see. Enter your tenancy name, continue, and then click continue. And then you will be now navigated to the OCI console page, the home page, basically. So here, there is a left navigation menu. So click this hamburger, what you see on my screen. Click this one. And then you see developer services in the left navigation. So click developer services. And once you click this, you see Apex application development, Apex instances. Click any one of them. And then you are navigated to this particular page where you can create an Apex service, right? What you see on my screen is an Apex service that I created 2-3 days ago, and then I terminated that today. And then I would like to create a new Apex service. So this is what I'm doing. Going to click create Apex service. Scroll down a bit. Make sure, okay, so before that, wait a minute. On the screen, when you come to the screen, you see compartment. So for those of you who are actually don't have an Apex service yet, you need to select your compartment here, right? I already have the compartment selected. You see the same instructions in your hands-on lab guide. Like for example, in step 4, you select the compartment. Step 5, you enable always free option. Make sure you choose the database version is 19C, and then you enter a password for the admin and click create Apex service. A very important note is please save this password, either in Notepad or maybe you can just remember, because this is going to be used multiple times in your application development today. So please do remember to this particular password. It need not be this one, you can use your own, but make sure that you remember the password for the next steps. Okay, so one more tip I would like to give you is, if you're not able to view the image properly, it has a magnifier image, magnifier icon. So if you click this plus icon, the image gets magnified for you, and then you can review and then close it again. So this is one tip I thought I'll give you as you proceed through the different steps. So let us create the Apex service now. So create Apex service here. So let me just go back and do the same. I have the compartment selected already. Create Apex service, scrolling down, and then make sure always free is turned on. Database version by default is 19C. So let me use the same thing. And for the password, let me use a password of my choice. I think I need to get something. Just give me a minute. like to get the one which I generally use so that I don't miss it again and again. Just give me a minute. Okay. So I'm just inputting the password and then using the same confirm password again, and then now click create Apex service. Once I click create Apex service, it will show me provisioning for 1 or 2 minutes. Then it will turn to available, and that's when you can actually come here and then click launch Apex. Now, by the time it is it does that, let me just go back to the hands-on lab guide. So here you see it turns from provisioning to available in 1 minute. If you don't see that even after 2 to 3 minutes, make sure you refresh the page or reload the page, and that will give you available status. Once you do so, you go here and then click launch Apex, and then you don't need to bother about the next one. You just need to click sign into administration. Go here. Basically, once you click launch Apex, it will navigate you to the Apex Instance Administration Services page. You need to log in, use the same password what you used to create the database earlier, and then you see this particular dialog where you have a create workspace button. Click the create workspace button. You need a workspace to build your Apex applications. A workspace is a private area in your database, in your Oracle database, which allows you to build applications under, supporting objects like your schema tables and, or database objects like views, tables, and so on. So basically, Workspace has a schema or multiple schemas assigned to it, and then you build your applications within an Apex workspace. In the Create Workspace dialog, make sure to enter the database username and the same password. Make sure you remember the same password. That's why I told you that you will be using the same again and again. The database user is something which you can choose to. Maybe it may be demo or your name or something else. Once you input the database username, the workspace name would pick up the same name. Okay, so you will notice that as you do so, and then click Create Workspace. Upon doing so, you will see this page in the Instance Administration where you see a link to your workspace. Click that link and that navigates you to the Workspace homepage where you input your workspace name, password, and then click sign in, and you're logged into the Apex workspace. Now let me just go back and do the same. In my case, it's still showing provisioning. It shows available now. So I click launch Apex. And then it navigates me to the Apex Instance Administration. Okay, it's just a little slow now. So hopefully it will come. Okay, has come now, almost there. So, okay, all right. So I will enter my password. Click sign into administration. And then, as I mentioned, it asks you to create a workspace. So click create workspace. I'm going to give a username APAC OUC, for example, and clicking in, entering the tab, it automatically picks up the workspace name the same. I enter the password and then I click create workspace. Once I do so, the workspace is being created for me. The table space is being created behind the scenes, and then I have this one, the link to my workspace here. Clicking this, that will navigate me to the login page of my workspace. I enter the password and then remember workspace username. Click sign in. The moment I click sign in, I am navigated to the Apex workspace. So now I have my environment ready. I'm going to close this one. I don't need this tab anymore. So I just have my workspace ready for me to build my application. So the next step is lab 1. Like I mentioned, we have a bunch of labs here. Lab 1, 2, lab 8 are the labs which are primary. Lab 9 and lab 10 are optional. I'm thinking we will be able to complete until max lab 4 today. hopefully until this. If we still have time, we will try to cover lab 6, lab 5, right? The target is at least lab 4. I would like to give some time, a break of 5 minutes or 4 minutes or 3 minutes in between for people to catch up with me. You don't need to wait for my instructions. The instructions are pretty straightforward in the hands-on lab guide. So if you're able to follow them thoroughly, please go ahead and then perform the steps. It would be nice to see you complete at least until lab 4 or lab 5 today. But if you can't, then that's completely fine. I can understand because you are using this lab for the first time. So in that case, you can do so at your leisure time, maybe later today or tomorrow. And then if you have any questions, you can reach out to the team. So let's get started now with the actual hands-on lab. So far we are done with the environment. Let me see if I have any questions in the chat window. I don't see anything. Okay, looks like all good. It's fine. So lab 1 is where you create an application. So click lab 1. In this lab, you actually build a skeleton application and you will add it. You'll add subsequent pages in the following labs. And then once around maybe 4 or 5 labs, you'll be able to build a solid application for you to view the pages. So like I mentioned, in this lab, you will also be signing up for the TMDB API key. So what you do in this lab is create a new application. You edit the appearance, the look and feel of your application, run your application, and sign up for a TMDB API key. Expand all tasks. Let's proceed with the first task. So you need to sign into the workspace or log into your workspace, which you have already done. And then you go to App Builder, click Create button. You're basically building an application from scratch. Click New Application. This is the task 1. So let me do that. Go to App Builder. And I click Create a new app or maybe Create. If you already have a workspace from your previous hands-on lab on Tuesday or maybe from your earlier signed in cloud account, that's fine. You just go here and then click Create. Create a new application. Okay, and then the task 2 that we have is naming this application and enhancing the appearance of application. Okay, you see here, this is the Create Application Wizard that we have. A Create Application Wizard is a one-stop shop for you to build your applications in Apex. What sort of applications you can build? You can build secure, scalable, responsive web applications, meaning the applications that you build will run fine both on your desktop as well as on your mobile device or on your smartphone. And then this is all controlled by the theming of Apex, which is nothing but universal theme. So in this Create Application Wizard, you see a place where you can enter the name. You can also change the appearance of your application, and you can also add some pages. You can build your reports, charts, and other things. And you have a section where you can install the features related to your application. For example, this is new in Apex 21.2, installing progressive web application. I don't recommend you to do this today, but I'm just giving you for additional information. Selecting this will actually enable the PWA capabilities for your Apex application. So we will learn more about it in maybe in later labs in future, but for now, I just wanted to give you some additional information from this workshop. So let us enter a name and then proceed with the next step. So you give a name, and then this is movies watch list, and then you select Vita.theme and you choose a new icon. You set the application icon, right? So here you select a red color swatch and the smiley face icon. Let's do that. So movies watch list is the name of the application. Click appearance and you select Vita dark, and then click choose new icon. So select red and then a smiley, and then set application icon. So you have application icon set, and click save changes. Let's do that. Okay. Then in the next step, in the pages section, click the edit button next to home, and then you enter the page name, my watch list. And then you also click set the icon. So you select a film icon for your home page and then save changes. So let's go here, and you see here the home page. Click the edit button here. Give this a name. Change the name from home to my watch list. And then click set icon. And then let's search for film. So you have two icons here. So this is a video and this is a movies basically. So select this one and then click save changes. Now you have the home page icon as well set. You see here how it looks like my watch list. Now, then you click create application to create your application and go to the application home page. Let's click create application. We're not doing anything else here. Just click create application. The application creation progress is shown, and then let's see what happens. You're in the application home page. Now you run the application. Sign in page, you enter your username password and click sign in. Let's do that, which is task 3. Click run application, and then you enter the credentials. Let's see, remember username again. Apex allows you to use different authentication schemes. The default one is application express credentials. You can also use your database credentials, and you can use a single sign-on and a single sign-in, and you can also use LDAP credentials. You can also use social sign-in authentication scheme. You can have your own custom authentication scheme when you build applications with Apex. So click sign in here, and then that takes you to the home page. Okay, so this is movies watch list. Now let's see what's the next step. The next task is task 4, updating the theming of the application. So far this is how the theming, how the page would look like. Now we would like to change the look and feel of this. So you go to the developer toolbar and click customize, and then click theme roller. So here, this particular gray button element or user interface is what you call as developer toolbar. So in here you see customize button. Click this and you click theme roller. So you don't need to know any kind of CSS or HTML or other scripting to change the look and feel of your application. Apex does everything, has everything built in for you. It's all native to Apex, and you need to use your wizards to select options of your choice and make the respective updates to your application. So here we want to change the global color. Okay, so you need to click global colors and copy this hex color code, and then click on the color swatch next to primary accent, paste that one, and then body accent, you paste another hex code. So let's do this first. Go here, global colors, primary accent, click this one, and over here you see hex. So let's paste this, and then next come back here, body accent, and then you paste this hex code for body accent, and then you click save as. So coming here, it's already saved. Body accent, click the body accent and you save. Enter this hex code, and then you just click somewhere. It's already changed. If you see the look and feel, and then you come back here, and then you need to save as. Enter a name, movies dark, and click save, and then you close the theme roller window. So here click save as. Let's give it a name, movies dark. Save this. Okay, the theme style created successfully, and click save. And then once the save is done, click the X icon to close the theme roller window. Okay, so this completes task 4 and task 5, which is very important for us, is signing up for a TMDB API key. I had a slide already where I talked about this. Why do you need this? Because you're using the movies database, and to access movies database using a API and then fetching data from that, you need an API key basically. So for this, you need to go to the movie database page to sign up for a free account. So please do that right away. Right click this one, go to movies database, and you sign up. I actually have an account already, so I'm just logging in with my account details. So sign up for the TMDB, okay? And once you sign up, the next step for you is follow the getting started instructions on the TMDB developer side. So click this guy, and then you need to input your application and contact information for the API key. So click this. And then here you see how do you sign up for an API key. So scrolling down. Okay. So getting started, and then this is how you need to, where you need to come and then sign up for an API key here. Okay. So please quickly go through that. Go to account, for example, and you might want to just have a look at where you need to create this and API key request for that. And then I think in profiles, you come here under profile. After signing in, wait a minute, profile and settings. Here you come to settings or maybe edit profile. Scrolling down here, you see API. Okay, so enter your details and then sign in for your API key. Okay, once you request, you get an API key. So please review the getting started information page, and then let's proceed with the next step. So once registered, you will need to enter the application name, which is movies watchlist. For the type of use, mention select website. For the type of use and application name, enter movies watchlist or whatever. Application URL, you need to just copy paste your URL from your browser. For example, this is where we were running, so you can just click this one and copy the URL from this location and then paste it there. And then for summary, just mention that this is being used for educational purpose or hands-on lab training where you are building an application or maybe a demo application, something. Also enter the rest of the mandatory details, and then you will receive an API key. Once you receive the API key, make sure you store it in your notepad somewhere, because we'll be using in most of the steps throughout this lab. Once you do so, then you go to the MovieDB movie details page. For example, here, and then you can click the try it out tab. Most of the cases, I believe it won't work. In such a case, just click the URL and run it, and that should give you the details. So where you will be testing out your API key basically. So come here and you see get and try it out button, and here API key, enter your API key. Once you receive that, let me just copy paste the one that I have for myself, entering my TMDB API key, and they say you enter 505 here as a parameter. Click send request. In my case, I see an error. That's okay, fine. What I do is I just copy paste this URL, copy this URL, which is adjacent to send request, and I go to my browser, paste this, hit enter, then I see the details. I see the movie and movie ID details. This is not looking good because I'm using Safari, but if you look in Chrome or maybe Firefox, you see it's already indented structure of this data. It gets you the movie IDs and other stuff. So this is task 5, which completes just now, and we will do lab 2 once you complete until this step. So what I would like to do, I would like to wait for 5 minutes from now to proceed with the next step. So by now you should have your TMDB API key, and we will just catch up in 3 minutes. I'll just put myself in mute for 3 minutes, and then we'll resume back with the hands-on lab. Okay, back now. And Rafiq is asking for the URL, so please share the URL for the lab guide, please. We finished lab 1 just now and getting to lab 2. So by this time, you should have the TMDB API key ready. Okay, so now let me just go back. So completed lab 1 and lab 2. What do you do in lab 2? You create REST data sources. You actually create two REST data sources here. And also you edit these REST data sources for your requirements. And so let's get started. So you'll set up two REST data sources to get data from the TMDB API. And then you will later use these REST data sources to build out your search functionality. And for that, you need to edit and add an additional column in your data profile. So you will do so. And then later on in the next lab, you will be actually creating the movie search page. So for now in this lab, let's create the REST data sources for these APIs. So as of now, you should have a TMDB API key. Remember, that's very important. Without that, you will not be able to do lab 2. That's a very important prerequisite. And at any point of time, if you're stuck with, right, if not able to do, for example, someone who would have just joined, they don't have time to complete the earlier lab, right? So in that case, all they can do is just go to this location, stuck, download the application here. So click this guy, and then you have the catch-up script for your hands-on lab. Download this and install it in your workspace, and that should give you whatever we have done in the previous lab. Okay, but TMDB is something which you need to create for yourself. Will not be able to give you, but you need to create step 5 or task 5 for yourself. So lab 2 again coming here. So we have 29 minutes more. So let's speed up a little bit and finish off until lab 5 or lab 4 at least. So let's expand all tasks. And then we go to the application builder, shared components, and then we click REST data sources, click create from scratch and enter a name and then URL endpoint. Let's go there. So let me just close this. So I'm going to app builder, click shared components, and then under data sources, you see REST data sources, click this guy and then click create from scratch, click next, and then enter a name. So you enter the name popular movies. This is the first REST data source that you're going to create. And for URL endpoint, you can use this URL, but make sure you need to replace the API key with the actual API key that you get from your TMDB. In task 5 of previous lab, you already got the API key. I suggested that you save it in your notepad. So you will be replacing this particular one with that API key. So what I'm going to do, I'm just copying this entire URL endpoint, go in here, and then I paste it here. Now I need to replace the API key with my actual API key. So here in this URL, I will just get rid of this guy, replace that with my actual API key. Once I do so, click next button. You need to make a couple of changes to this base URL and service URL path. While this works completely fine, but we want to make sure that there is some consistency. So let's do what kind of changes we're going to do. Okay, so you notice that Apex automatically divides the URL into base path and service URL path. So we'll slightly do what Apex has suggested us so that it's consistent across all the REST data sources you're going to create today. So the base URL, let's cut it until here, okay, until org3/3, okay, until here. And then the service URL path, let's have this movie here, actually here, and then just get rid of that movie/popular, and here API key should be replaced with the actual API code that you get. Let's see if it is already there. API key equals to this already been input here for us, so it's fine. So we have that one, and then click next again. So click next again. Now pagination type, remember this is an enhancement that we got in the recent release, so we don't need a pagination for this, which is fine with as is. So click next there, and then click discover. So click next here, and then click discover. So that should get you the data, or the data that is and it's pulled in like a data profile. If you see here, this is nicely pulled in JSON response, and this is the data that you see. Now you click create REST data source. Click create REST data source. This doesn't have a column which we actually need in our Apex application components. So we need to add that particular column, and that column is actually poster path. This poster path, poster URL actually. So poster URL is actually needed for us, and then so if you want to use poster path if you want to fetch the poster in our application, so we will add a column, and that column data is derived from the poster path, which contains the URL so that you can access it directly. So we just don't need just a name of the movie, but we also want the poster, right? So we will do that. So how do you do that? You go here, click the popular movies REST data source, and then you click data profile, click edit data profile, and then you add a column. Now click add column, and then now let's give it a name. Let's give the name as poster URL, and let's make it visible, and then we have a SQL expression as the column type, and then give the SQL expression. So column type is SQL expression, and give the SQL expression, which is actually fetching the URL from the poster path in the REST API. Okay, so for that we need a column called as poster URL, and it is getting the image from there, and then what you do is click create and say apply changes. Click create here and say apply changes, and apply changes once again. So this, you're done with editing the REST data source profile. Now task 3 in this is creating one more REST data source. One we created for popular movies. What are the popular movies? And second one is we need to create one for the search movies REST data source. So you will just create a duplicate actually, or else you can just create, go to the REST data source page and create it like this. So let's go here, go to the same shared components again, and click REST data sources, click create from scratch. Now here for the URL endpoint, you need to just copy paste this and enter the name as search movies. Name of this thing is search movies, and URL endpoint is this. Again, replace the API key with the one that you have already, and then come here and replace this one. Okay, so now click next. We're not going to make any more changes. Click next and click next again. Let's click this next. It is already using the same. We already have created the remote servers. We don't need a new one, so it will use the same one. That's fine. Click next again. But here we need some pagination. You can set up different types of pagination. These are the different options that we have. So we will use the page number pagination because it can fetch all the data in one go instead of creating repeated requests. So page number, parameter name is page, size is 20, and click next. So page number, page is the parameter, fixed size. Page size is 20. Yeah, so this is page number, and then page number. URL parameter is page, and then fixed page size is 20, and then click next, and then click discover. Let's see. Click next, and then click discover. So it gives us the JSON for the same, and now create a REST data source. Now the same thing again you need to do for this is that you also need to have the poster URL new column added in here. So click search movies now and repeat the same steps as in task 2 earlier. Click edit data profile, okay, and click add column. Same steps as in here. Go back here to see that, and then proceed with the same step. Poster URL and visible turn on. Column type is SQL expression. Input the SQL expression and then click create. SQL expression. Click create. Click apply changes, and then apply changes once again. Okay. So that completes task 3 as well, wherein we created a search movies list data source, and we also edited the profile so that we have the poster URL column. Now this completes lab 2, creating REST data sources. So far we have done with lab 1, where we created the application and we created enhanced the application look and feel, and then we also requested for the TMDB API key. And in lab 2 we created 2 REST data sources. We also edited the REST data source profile so that we added a column for poster URL, which fetches the poster path from the poster path from the REST API for us, and then that will show you the image or the poster for your movie in your application. So this completes lab 2. We'll proceed to lab 3 in a minute. In the meantime, let me just check if there are any questions. Okay, it's all good, I guess. So let's go back and start lab 3 now, because we still have 20 minutes more. So we need to finish this at least until lab 4. That's my target. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tasks in this, which is a little heavy lab. Takes 20 minutes, but let's try to finish in what time we can. So what do we do here? We add a button to link the movie search page and the movie watch list page. You actually create a page, and then you right. So you actually create a button, and you also create a new page, and you link the popular REST data source to the new page. You also link the search to the new page, and you set up some search functionality. So let's expand all tasks and start building in this. So you remember we changed the home page name as My Watch List. So go in here, go to your application, go to your home page, and now start building on top of that. So here you are in Page Designer, My Watch List. Right click on My Watch List region and then click Create Button. Here you create a button, right? Click this, create a button. And then what you do, you give it a name, add movie, and then identifying label with add movie, and the layout position is next. This is add movie. The label is add movie. The layout position is next for us. Then appearance is text with icon, and the button is a hot button. So appearance is text with icon and hot. Scroll down a bit. Then we need to use some template defaults too. So you need to use some template options. Click that, and then you hide label on mobile. You select that, and your icon position to be left. So you need to click this, select hide label on mobile, and what else? Icon position is left, and click OK. Icon position is left, and you say OK. And then for icon, I think we need to add here FA plus. Okay, for appearance. Now you click the save button. So we save the changes so far what we have done. And then you scroll down a bit. So that completes task 1. We created an add a movie button. Then now we are going to create a new page, which is a search page, right? So what we do is go to this page designer again and click this plus icon, create a page. This time you're going to create a blank page. Click blank page. And then let's come in here and see what is there. You create a blank page. Page name is movie search and choose model dialog and click next. So in here, enter this model dialog, accept the defaults and click next. Scroll down a bit, click next and click finish. Just click this one and then the blank page is created. Now you will have the regions on top of that. Okay, so this is movie search, which is selected. And then under appearance, for template options, you need to make sure that this is a model dialog, right? So we need to have it stretch to fit window. So scroll down here, appearance, and click theme options, template options, and stretch to fit window. And click OK there, and then split this. And then for CSS classes, sorry, in the dialog section, enter this particular code in the attributes. What actually this does is when you are refreshing the watchlist page, when the movie search dialog closes, the watchlist page is refreshed. So this code, particular line of code, would help you there because as you start adding and removing movies, you don't want to load your home page every time. I mean, you don't want to manually do that, but the home page should be reflecting any changes automatically without your intervention. So for that, it should actually do that. So go here under dialog and attributes, you just paste this. So within navigation, for navigation, scroll down a bit. Cursor focus should be first item on page, and you do not want to be warned on unsaved changes. Okay, so that's there. And then in the CSS property group, just make some additional custom CSS. So click this guy. And actually what is this doing is that because in the movies database, remember we just created a poster URL column, and that would actually get you the poster path. This poster path would be of different sizes. So this particular code would actually resize and it would adjust all of the images to a standard size. So for that, we need to use some custom CSS. So you go in here up and you copy this one, and in the property code box, you need to paste this. Scroll down. Hang on a minute. For inline CSS. Let's click this. Okay. And then task 3, which is the next one. So on the right click on content body and create, click create region. So go here, you'll be creating 2 regions here. One is on the content body, and then you set the properties as title as popular movies, and this is of type cards. And the next thing is you need to use the resource now, and you select popular movies. So instead of location, which is a local table, you will be using the res data source. You see here, sorry, this is popular movies res source. And then you also need to make some slight changes to the attributes. So you click attributes, and then this is grid, and the grid column should be 5 columns to be displayed in the cards page. Primary column is ID and the column is title. Scroll down a bit. No, primary column is ID and title column is title. Turn on the advanced formatting on for subtitle and give this expression. You have a star icon next to the actual rating. Okay, so turn on the advanced formatting and give this HTML expression. Remember the stars that we get for that, the rating that we get, just next to that would be a star icon for us. So we would have that. And then media source is URL column. Scroll down a bit. Media source can be an URL column, and then the URL column would be the poster URL column. You remember that is what we created. Media position is first and appearance is square. This is the first, appearance is in a square, and then sizing is cover. See, scroll down a bit. And you also need to create a cards region for the search movies resource. So it's the same. So all you do is, so far what you have done, just save this. Now you need to create the same for the search movies. So create a duplicate, and in here for popular movies, for the resource, choose search movies. So now you have 2, but you also need to make slight changes. Because you already have pagination set up, if you remember when we create that as data source. So for that, what you do is under attributes, scroll down a bit, and pagination just changes to page, and cards per page, let's make them as 25, because we already did that in the res data source we're using it. Finally, you are adding the search bar. Okay, so here what you do is you create a region on the dialog header. So go to dialog header, right click this one and create a region. And now you give a name as search bar, and this can be, the template is blank with attributes. And now here you, for CSS classes, enter padding -sum. This won't be available if you just click that. You just need to enter manually. So if you just click this one, it won't show up for you. So just have it entered manually. Padding -sum, and then right click the new search bar region and then create page item. Right click this one, create page item, and then you give it a name, make that as hidden. You give it a name P2 search, and for appearance, make this as hidden. Okay, the template is hidden, and click the template options dialog, select stretch form item, and sizing should be X large, XL is what you see. Click OK, and then here you need to also have an icon for the appearance, which is FA search. Scroll down a bit, icon is FA search, and for appearance value placeholder, let us enter a value. Wait a minute. Appearance, what is that? So value placeholder, enter this, and scroll down a bit, and you see one on unsaved changes. Let us have them as ignore, and then save these changes for now. Okay, on the popular movies region, you need to just go to the popular movies region and scroll down to the server condition, and then you need to enter the item, the type and item. You still need to select the item for that. So server side condition, scroll down a bit. Sorry, for item is null. You create an opposite for the search mode. Sorry. Okay, so this is, wait a minute. So this is popular movies. This is search movies. Sorry, this should be search movies. Just made a mistake here. And this is the popular movies, right? Okay, so item is null, and item is P2 search. So item is null, and item is P2 search. And then let's do the opposite for that. For searched movies, click on searched movies. Searched movies, and for searched movies, let's scroll down to server side condition, and we need to do item is not null here, the opposite, and P2 search. So server side condition, item is not null, and you choose P2 search for the same. Okay, so that I think that completes this particular thing. Oh, you need to still have, you need to set the parameters. So you need to expand the parameters, and then you enter the query and other stuff here. So okay, so what you do is you just need to expand this query parameters, and then you enter, select query, and for this you need to enter some values. You need to enter the static value. If you see it would be Harry Potter. You change the static value to item and select P2 search. So here it is static value. Now you select item for this, and for item you just select P2 search. Okay, and then save the button, save the changes. Now you link add movie to movie search. So what you do is you go to page 1 from here, select page 1, and then here you create a redirect to the page in application. So what you do is click the add movie button here, and then here under behavior you change this to redirect to page in this application. For target you select the movie search page, and then for clear cache enter 2, which is the page number for the movie search page. Okay, scroll down. Okay, to close the IR, and then you create a dynamic action here. Right, create a dynamic action, and then this should get refreshed actually the moment it gets closed, or refresh on dialog closed without you manually doing it all the time. Dialog refresh on dialog closed, and then choose the refresh action. So this should be refresh on dialog closed, and expand this guy, click the refresh action, and the action should be submit the page. Okay, so now save and run button on the top of the page designer. Save and run the changes. And now let's see what happens by clicking add movie. You see movies, right? You see the movie posters fetched in. You also see the details. You also see the star, and you also see the rating. These are the changes that we made in the For the poster path, we edited the data profile and we got the poster URL. So now you will only see the search bar and the list of popular movies here. Okay, these are the popular movies. Let's see what happens if we enter Harry Potter and click enter. That should display you all the Harry Potter movies. Okay, so clearing this guy would actually get you all the popular movies again. So let's see. Now let's click add movie once again, and then you see all of the movies data is being fetched for you. And you see here the cards is set to 5 columns, right? And also there is pagination if you just scroll. So the other thing that you need to notice here is that you can just, if you just resize this, for example, this is how it displays on your mobile. Okay, and then just let's say Harry Potter. Let's display all the Harry Potter movies for you again. So I think that's pretty much from the hands-on lab for today. So we could complete until lab 3 successfully. And if you're stuck here, you're not able to do this, so you can download the application. So there are totally 9 hands-on labs, of which the last 10 hands-on labs, of which lab 9 and 10 are optional. But I would highly recommend you to perform until the remaining labs. And if you have any questions, you can always let us know. So with that, I think we completed the hands-on lab today. Millennium Movies watch list application in 90 minutes. So what we have done is we created a movie search page, we created movies detail page, and then we used REST data sources to fetch data from the movies database. And we did a search, and then the next steps would be implementing buttons and badges, and then implementing the watch list. So we build the app, we build the pages, and the next one is implementing the watch list, which I hope so you can go through the hands-on lab guide and perform for yourself. That's it from my side. Thank you so much for this great opportunity, ABACO UC, and I really look forward to meeting you all again soon, and hopefully in person very soon. And I wish you all a great rest of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chaitanya. So far, there is no post like for any queries. I think Rafiq Abdullah has sent a query that is addressed by Roopesh. Anyway, thank you everyone for your participation today, and please do not forget to register for another great sections and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you so much.